I truly believe it's easier than ever to become famous on the internet. So a lot of people seem to be under the impression that it's too late to start making content. There's too many people doing it, they've missed the boat. But the truth is, it's never been easier to blow up on social media than right now. But first, you might be thinking, who even is this guy? Why should I listen to him? He only has 700 subs, and that's fair, but I've also been living and breathing this industry for the last 4 years. I've helped creators go viral, I've worked behind the scenes with people you might know, and I've seen my friends turn this into a full-time job. I work with Tom Noski, who has grown 200,000 followers on Instagram since we started working together. My friend Michael has grown his Instagram page from 0 to 100,000 followers, talking about Asian culture. And recently I've edited videos for Feastables, Mr. Beast's chocolate brand. So although my channel is relatively small, I know what goes into making videos perform well, and I also know what goes into the day-to-day work as well. So with all of that out of the way, how is it easy? How is it easier than ever to become famous and blow up on social media? Well, back in 2013, which was around the time I started my first YouTube channel, the game was completely different. You basically had to upload long form videos on YouTube and hope the algorithm picked you up. Audience sizes were a lot smaller. There was no short form to leverage. Monetization wasn't really a thing. Back in 2013, you didn't have creators making their own clipping pages to expand the amount of content they put out there and expand their reach. Back then, that was seen as weird because why would you have a fan page of yourself? Nowadays, that is a very normal blueprint for especially live stream creators who want to put out as much content as humanly possible. The actual distribution of content has never been more clear. So how can you take advantage of this? Nowadays, there's a few ways you can go about doing this. You have long form, obviously you have short form, and you have live streams. And then within long form and live streams, you can leverage short form to put out more content, which is why you see these live streamers clipping up hundreds of sections within their live streams and within their YouTube videos to post to Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So that is the first thing. The distribution channels in 2025 are a lot more clear than in 2013. You have more options. But what do you post? How can you start using these to your advantage? So when I look at creators that have blown up recently, especially on Instagram and especially in short form, because that's the world I know best, they all seem to have one main thing. They have a topic that they own and that they're known for. So step one would be to find your own thing. In the beginning, it really is a case of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. You have full control, especially when you don't have an audience yet, to just make whatever you want and see what performs well, see what you enjoy making. And the way you make this a long-term and sustainable thing is by expanding outwards. So for example, you might have an interest in architecture, and your thing at the very beginning, the video that does well for you is a video about the world's tallest building. You can branch out from there by talking about the top 10 world's tallest buildings. And the way you never run out of content is you just keep branching out. So you start with a video about the world's tallest building, you branch out to the top 10, and then you make longer videos explaining how those buildings were built. You can branch out into the architects that helped build them and, like deep dives into their life and their work. You could do a concept series where you design your own buildings that will never exist. So with a topic like that, you can build a pretty strong audience, and then longer term, you can actually fly to newer developments and interview contractors and the architects on site. This is how you never run out of content. You just keep branching out. You can take that and start a podcast about architecture. You can do this with any topic, but it all starts with one interest and one thing. And this is why I love short form specifically, because it makes testing these things really easy, and you actually don't need any talent, you don't need any knowledge. You don't need to know how to edit. You don't need a really expensive camera. You just need to use a phone and film whatever you find interesting. And because pretty much everyone on earth is on social media now, you can post a good idea, go to bed with 0 followers and wake up with 100,000. And like I said at the start of this video, that didn't exist in 2013. But still, every single year I hear the phrase, "It's too saturated now. It's too late." And I know this might sound like it's easy for me to say because I have that prior experience and I kind of know what goes into these things. But what gives me hope, and it should give you hope as well, is that it's idiots all the way up. So you might look at your favorite creator and think, yeah, they've managed to make this a success, but I could never do that. When in reality, all you need is one idea that does well. And all that requires is consistency and the ability to post every idea that you can come up with. Because in my experience, every single creator that I've worked with, who you might assume is completely different to you in some way, isn't. You know, they still stumble over their words in their scripted content. They still get frustrated during the filming process. They have self-doubt about some of their ideas. They also started with 0 followers. The perfect example of this, I think, is Mr. Beast. Obviously, world's biggest YouTuber. I think he has 25 channels above 1 million subs. And obviously, for Feastables, I was given raw footage of Jimmy, Mr. Beast, and you might look at his success and his channel and think he has everything figured out, but I can tell you from behind the scenes experience, he still struggles to film, he still messes up his lines, because it's completely normal, and because of that, I don't think anyone should use their lack of experience or skill level stop them from making content in the first place. I guess my point with all of that is to say there's not this invisible threshold you need to meet in terms of skill to get started and post videos. Everyone is kind of figuring it out. And even with all of that, I still think it's the easiest time ever to become famous or blow up on social media, however you want to call it, because the distribution channels and the size of audiences on social media are just massive now, and you can literally pick up a phone, film whatever you like, and blow up the next day. So if you hear anyone say that it's too late to start posting on TikTok, or it's oversaturated and you can't get 1 million subs on YouTube anymore, they're wrong. It actually hasn't been easier.